Hello and welcome to In Isolation, the new weekly webcast where you'll find yourself asking whether we're in fact clothed from the waist down. I'm James Kerwin, and with me from the other side of the planet is my lovely and talented co-host, Nicola Bryan. Nicola.
Hello. How lovely to be here. I'm not in complete isolation though, because I have Marnie behind me.
Yeah, I'm in complete isolation, except for mini you there.
That's sad. That's very sad, James.
Hey, you know, what happens in isolation stays in isolation. So,
Totally.
So this show is, for everybody out there watching, this is an experiment. We'll see where this takes us during these kind of crazy times we're in right now. And I think over the next few weeks, Nicola and I will be ruminating, we'll be discussing life, art, creativity, life in isolation, and what that means to us, how it's affecting our projects and our work. But we want to focus on the positive. God knows we need that right now. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be insightful and interesting, while still recognizing how difficult things are right now for everyone, for the whole world. So we hope you'll join us each week for however long we do this, right?
Absolutely. Please join us. And occasionally I might pop onto Twitter and ask if you have any questions, and we'll pick one of those questions and introduce it into the episode.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I just surprised you there.
Is that a good idea? Yeah. So what, so Nicola, we were talking before the show, and you said that it seems like it's kind of like you're having Los Angeles weather over there right now, and we're having British weather over here. Like it's pouring rain. It's been pouring down rain here for days.
I saw people queuing to vote on the news, and it looked very British weather, whereas today we were 70 degrees, and I took the dogs for a walk at 5 o'clock at night, and it was really warm. So yeah, but a week ago I was wearing a thermal lining inside my anorak and boots to take the dogs for a walk. So wow. Yeah.
We were also talking before the show about how long this shelter in place or isolation or whatever we call it has been going on. Here in the state of California, we are in state-ordered shelter in place, and which means that we are only supposed to leave our home for essential things. But about a week before the formal order came down from LA, my very good friend predicted that this was going to happen, and she actually said, "You should stock up on groceries and things like that because the stuff is about to hit the fan." So I did, and she turned out to be right. So I've kind of been voluntarily self-isolating. I believe this is day 26 for me, but I think, like we were talking about before the show, that you have me beat on that.
My mom moved in with me on March the 9th, and we've been pretty much self-isolating since. They kept sending her extra hospital appointments, but I just went, no, we're not going, which made me look really awful because my mom was worried she should be going. She's just finished chemo.
Right.
And it was successful, and she's doing okay, but she's pretty fragile right now. But they didn't need anything. There was nothing they desperately needed. It was just like, come and see us. And I just went, no, we're not going to go, especially as one of the hospitals that they asked her to go to was, in fact, the first hospital where somebody died of the coronavirus. So I thought, no, I don't really want to take her there. Last week, I spoke with her consultant, and they said, how wise that you did this. So I felt, phew. So yeah, we've been doing it a month. But we're managing. We're doing fine. It's all okay. You know, nothing really to complain about.
Good, good. So speaking of isolation, since this is episode 1 of In Isolation, we figured we'd first focus on kind of beginnings, the serendipitous threads in our lives, in time, that led us to where we are now. Yeah. And so Nicola, you're an actress, you're a director, musician, so many things. You're probably best known for your work on this tiny show called Doctor Who, very small thing. Probably nobody's heard of that.
I know.
But maybe you can start there. Paint that picture for. Let's go back in time and talk a little bit about what led to that coming. I mean, because you were straight out of drama school, right? And you immediately fell into a series regular role on one of the most iconic shows in history.
Well, for me, this is always such a long answer, because I realized there were so many things in place that had to be in place for me to get to the point where I would even have the audition. So I was at Webber Douglas, and I'd had some nice roles. And of course, you write thousands of letters to agents, begging them to come and see you, hoping somebody will spot you and take you on. But then our final show before we finished school was going to be a musical. Now, I might write music and I can hum in tune, but I was not considered one of the musical people in my year. So I was a bit down at the thought that we were going to be doing No, No, Nanette. But I happened to be secretly married, teenage bride, to a man who had been a Broadway star, and his Broadway name was Scott Kennedy. And he was like, okay, well, if this wasn't a musical, which part would you audition for? And I went, well, Nanette, of course.
Exactly.
But the interesting thing was, for the first time, they were going to get an outside director who directed musicals to come in and audition us so that we would have the proper auditioning process. So if they hadn't done that, this would not have happened. If I had not had a Broadway star as my other half, I would not have practiced the songs or even thought there was any point in doing it. So with those two things in place, I went to audition for the role of Nanette. I got up, I sang my best. That was it, end of. Didn't expect to hear anything for a while. Came back a couple of days later, and my name was on the board to play Nanette. And it was like declaring a little bit of war in my drama school. The students who'd had singing tutorials for 3 years, waiting to play the lead in the final musical, were not very happy with me. The teachers who'd been giving the singing tutorials were not very happy with me. And in fact, the director got a little bit of stick from the school saying, what are you doing? So all of that had to happen for me to play Nanette in No, No, Nanette, and for us to be doing the American score. So, and since my other half was a Broadway star and he was American, that was not an issue for me. My best friend in school had been American. My ear was very in tune with that sound. It was not a problem. But we opened, we only had like 5 days of the show, and one agent that came in was William Hartnell's Small World, Serendipity, was William Hartnell's son-in-law, and he was an agent, Terry Coney. So he came, he saw the production of No, No, Nanette, and next to my name, he wrote American. So about a week or so later, across his desk, which of course he would be interested in, with his father-in-law being William Hartnell, came the breakdown for the new Doctor Who companion, which was Peri Brown, tall blonde Californian, and a list of a few of her quirks, characteristics, what she was like. And so, since I'd written to Mr. Coney and invited him to come to see the show, he had my name, address, and telephone number. Had I not been bothered to write to hundreds of agents, then he wouldn't have had my details. But he did. So he rang me to ask if I would like to audition for the companion in Doctor Who. Now, what are the odds of that happening? Really remote, so I didn't take it seriously. I thought it was a friend of mine in school who was really good at pranks and doing voices. So I just kept saying, Paul, get off the phone. You're so funny. That's hysterical. Nobody wants to audition me for job. You are very good voice. Good voice. You sound like a really old man.
Wait. You were saying that to the actual agency that called you?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, more than once, because they called back and because I went, yeah, great, fun, bye, and hung up on them. And so the phone went again, and the same voice, my friend Paul, said again, my name is Terry Coney. I am an agent. I came to see you in Nona Nanette. And I'm just going, yeah, right. You're so funny. He said, I think I'm going to give you my phone number so that you can call me back because you obviously don't think this is a serious phone call. So he hung up and I thought, oh, that was a clever one. Good one, Paul. I suppose okay, it's not your home number. Very clever. You're calling
you are still thinking this is an elaborate prank even after he gives you his phone number.
Yeah. I mean, I've played some elaborate pranks on some friends and,
Uh-huh.
And he and I had a kind of prankster relationship, so I thought that's what was happening. And so then I rang this number, and a woman answered the phone. And I was like, okay, this must be the woman whose flat that my friend is in, this apartment. And they went, Eric Lepine Smith Limited. And that was the name of the agency. And I was like, oh, can I speak to Mr. Terry Coney, please? Yes, hold the line, please. I was like, oh my, I have just said all these things to this man who is a real agent. So I then spoke to Terry Coney, who spoke to me and said, okay, first thing, I have an audition for you. You need to be American. If you get the part, then I will take you on. If you don't, then you're just exactly where you are right now. So I was like, okay, wild, great, amazing, wow, pinch me. So I had an audition to be seen by John Nathan Turner for the role of Peri Brown. Now, if any one of those little pieces had been different, I would not have got to the audition place.
Right, exactly. There's so many things like that in life, aren't there?
Extraordinary. And even then, I guess I'd had to agree that I would be American, and I was. And at one point, they had a film crew in from Denver, and I thought, oh no, this is when I get caught. On the final audition, because it had been like 3 months of auditioning, John sat me down, asked me if I'd like a drink, and then he offered me the part. And it was not an audition. It was I want to see you face to face. I want to see your reaction when I offer you the part.
Right.
But then you had to have an equity card in order to act in those days because it was a closed union. And so you had to work your way to getting your equity card. I didn't have an equity card. I had to find a way of getting one within the next, whatever it was, 6-8 weeks. So I went and bought this manual on writing your own contracts. It was actually something published by Equity. I'd have to go through the variety route. So that meant I had to do my own shows, but I couldn't afford to buy somebody else's copyright or anything like that. So I went round to pubs, clubs, wine bars with a contract written up and said, you need me to come in here and sing for you.
Wait.
Yes.
You went to pubs and tried to persuade them to hire you to sing.
Yes, which was funny because
But how would that get you an equity? Oh, okay. All right. I see.
Okay. You could then prove that you could earn a living. Here are my 10 contracts.
Right. Makes sense.
So I wrote all my contracts and I said, it just needs to say that you've paid me £28, £32, And I said, I don't care if you don't pay me that amount. You just need to sign my contract that says you did. So It was hard. I got two little pubs that were hell. But the first one, the best one, was my local wine bar, where literally there were only 6 bar stools. It was such a small place.
It's really interesting to hear that because it's so different there than it is here. Because I mean, you have these equity, the equity. You know, we have SAG-AFTRA over here, which is completely separate from Actors Equity. They're sister unions, but they're different. And you know, if I am directing a TV show or a film, and I want to use a non-union actor, I Taft-Hartley them in because by law you have to be allowed to do that. But I guess it's different. It sounds like it's very different over there.
It was. It changed.
Okay.
And now I consider our union to be quite broken. You don't need an equity card to do any kind of acting at all. So, and at the point when that happened was actually when all the Australian soap actors came over and did our pantomimes.
Damn them.
And they changed the makeup. It meant from then on, that's when we started to get, you know, footballers advertising crisps.
Right.
You could be anyone. You weren't necessarily a trained actor, whereas the whole thing was you went to drama school, you trained, you got your card, you worked your way up, you got a job making tea, sweeping floors, and playing the maid in a small theatre production if you were one of the lucky people of hundreds who were trying for the 2 available equity cards.
And for those of us over here, crisps means potato chips.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows.
Yeah. We must translate as
well. Yeah, we have audience, you know, on both sides of the pond. So we have to like. So
yeah, that, and then so I got my contracts and I sent them into equity, and they said, right, okay, we meet whatever is first or last Friday every month. We will look at your contract next Friday. So I'm waiting. And the phone rings and it's equity and they say, sorry, we didn't have time to do you this month. We'll do you next month.
What?
And I just kind of went, which is very me. I'm only just at this age, just starting to be able to go, excuse me. Whereas I just went, oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, I always say thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for running into my car. Yeah, I always do it. So I then I sat down and I thought, right, okay, well, that's it then. I got this far, but I don't get to go any further. And then Mini-Me kicked in. Mini-Me, just over your shoulder me, went, what? What are you thinking about, girl? Get back on that phone. So I got on the phone, I rang equity, and I went, okay, here's my situation. I just left drama school, and I've been offered one of the biggest jobs in television. If I don't have my equity card, I'm going to lose that job. So if I lose that job, I'm going to need some money. So I'm going to go to all the tabloid newspapers, and I'm going to tell them the story of how equity ruined my career. Silence. Hold on a moment. Talking, rustling, came back. Okay. And it was like, okay, darling. You know when someone starts calling you darling and sweetheart and sweetie and love because they're just trying to go, okay, let's keep this nice. And I said, right, okay, sweetie. Well, we're just going to have a little look at it now. We're going to get everyone back together in the room and we're all going to have a little look now. And we'll call you right back. Okay.
So you blackmailed your union, effectively.
I did.
Is what you did.
And they came back half an hour later and said, yes, all looks in order. Can we just ask, how did you write these contracts? And I went, I took them directly from your manual. And they went, our manual? I said, yeah, I bought your manual. And they went, nobody ever reads that. So I got it, and then I got the job.
Nice.
It was a climb Everest kind of role. And if I'd given up at any other point, like, I'm not going to learn to sing these songs because I'm never going to do musicals. I'm not going to get an equity card, so you're going to have to give it to the other person. And the thing I fear most is singing. It's like my whole, you know, it's like instant strangulation, the thought of me singing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have heard you sing. You don't sing poorly. I've heard you sing.
Okay, yeah, right. But anyway, so that was the beginning of Doctor Who for me.
Wow.
And then, of course, I spoke with my agent, who was then my agent, as he taken me on, and I said, so when do we tell them that I'm not American? And he said, oh, well, let's just get the contract first. So we get the contract. And then immediately they want me to go on, British breakfast TV, BBC TV. And I said to my agent, well, we need to tell them before I go on TV. And he's like, no. And I'm like going, but... And I was waiting for all my friends from drama school, all my relatives, or anyone to just ring in and say, that's not her real voice. That's not her. What are you talking about? She's not American. She's like, I just kept waiting for someone to blow my cover. It must be like being a spy.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Wow.
And I realized within a few months of, working, and that, my jaw would ache so much, my cheekbones, because I was using different groups of muscles.
Wait, are you saying that speaking like we do makes your jaw hurt?
It would do if it wasn't the way that you've been speaking all your life.
All right.
Each accent uses different parts of your face.
Uh-huh.
If your accent always uses a forward sound, you're going to develop these muscles more. So wherever your voice falls, wherever your accent takes you, your face shape, the muscles that you use are to do with your accent.
Interesting.
The actual filming was the easy bit, the doing everyday life as an American.
The actual filming was the easy bit, except when you got frostbite.
Oh.
Because you're not wearing hardly any clothes and it's freezing cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every terrible thing that happened to me, if you want to call it terrible, I embraced because I was just a happy person. I'm working. I'm in Doctor Who. I am blessed. So I am blessed to have scars down my legs from having to roll down the side of a volcano. I am blessed to have my frostbite because, I'm in this show.